following podcast may not be suitable for all listeners. It contains disturbing images and themes like, there's no fucking way this Trump thing is happening again, right? It's a bad dream? This is a TV show or something, like Succession. Trump's the main character, like Walter White in Breaking Bad, in some TV show on HBO called American Emperor. And this is the after show of that. This is Talking Trump, the American Emperor after show. Because there's no fucking way this is happening again.
I want to debate, and I think debates, with him at least, should be drug tested. I want to
Mr. President, are you suggesting President Biden's using cocaine?
I don't know what he's using, but that was not, hey, he was higher than a kite.
This week, cash for gold, toilets, Trump can't post bond, will we be seizing the assets of an asshole? Plus, also lacking a bond, Trump and his old VP. The Mike Pence character arc takes a turn as he won't endorse his former boss. Aw, was someone triggered by almost being hanged? A dizzying episode with storylines introduced and resolved at a frantic pace. This is Talking Trump, the American Emperor After Show. So much to get to, so let's jump in. I'm joined by my partner, American Emperor superfan Tom Robb. What an episode.
Incredible episode. I mean, everything from casting to the choices made in cinematography, the series of medium shots, the grotesques they chose as Trump fans at the rallies. It was particularly challenging, I heard, for the crew, and very challenging for the cast.
But they always rise to the occasion. They do it every week. It's incredible. A lot to cover. Let's start here, okay? Throughout the run of the show, there's always been this underlying foreshadowing that the Trump character was not as rich as he claimed to be. Do you think that this storyline, where he's unable to post a bond, that it'll actually finally come to light that he's not only not a billionaire, but he's actually broke?
Well, I think it's an act of writers holding something back, and then a wonderful case of a distinguished British actor holding something back. Their choice to cast someone so sort of elegant to play a sort of nouveau riche queen scumbag is just brilliant. They have political advisors because their aim is for it to feel real. And it really does. And so this mystery of, is he a complete liar every time he opens his mouth, or is there some shred of truth to something he's ever said?
You're referring to the great British actor, Sir Lawrence Davies. I think he has become so into this Trump character that he kind of, he's kind of loses himself for just long stretches of time. I heard, and as we have discussed in the past, sometimes on set while they're rolling, he'll just kind of go off into a new tangent, and that's something that has shaped the show in a way that other main characters have not shaped the show, in the past. So let me ask you this, bringing up the great actor, Sir Lawrence Davies, will we see a fire sale? Will we see a garage sale of, will we see a man standing helplessly as his empire is literally being detached and sold out from under him?
The thing is, we don't know. And what I've heard from behind the scenes is that the cast apparently doesn't know. And much of this is a surprise when they get to the set, and that adds to the tension. It's really turned traditional storytelling on its head when Trump has had medical issues, for example, in the past, when characters have died, when characters have gone to jail. You see a real surprise in the remaining cast members because they have no idea it's going to happen.
I mean, what is the closest thing that you draw a comparison to? Is it like the early days of The Sopranos, where actors would often be kept in the dark as opposed to like what their actual script of the episode that they were shooting contained?
I think it's Succession. I think it's the Power Rangers. I think it's Thundercats. I think it's a lot of different things that have created a new kind of narrative. You see this at the rallies. A lot of the secondary parts, a lot of the extras willing to be
Yeah.
completely loathsome, terrifying idiots.
Almost as,
And
almost as
uh,
if they're taking their cue from the Trump character. You know, you have actors that may, under normal circumstances, they wouldn't say what's written for them in that script, but then they go ahead, they see the job that Davies is doing, the language, the horrendous vitriol that he's spewing, and they feel like compelled probably to match that as film is rolling.
I think he's raised the bar. And the thing is, Davies, I believe, changes his motivation with every line. He wants to murder immigrants. He wants to employ them. He hates his family. He finds some sort of temporary use for them. It's changing constantly. And that's why we're in an almost perpetual state of cliffhanger. The Trump character surprises us all the time. We didn't know till the tail end of this episode if, as you say, he is broke, he's going to make bail, he's going to find a lender, he's going to fly out on an ultralight aircraft and crash into the sea. It's completely unclear at all times, and that's what keeps us guessing as an audience. What if this person actually were president? What if such a quixotic, mercurial, unpredictable lunatic actually were in control? What would we do?
Quite a question indeed. Another interesting plot line this week was the Mike Pence character coming out and refusing to endorse his old boss. Now, I feel like as great as the show can be, they often misfire on numerous characters. Clearly, this season, I feel that they recognize the flop that this Pence character was, and they're just writing him out at this point. And that whole angry mob calling for his hanging, it would have been, a great exit for a character. They had him run against Trump earlier in this season. In the first couple episodes, he was like an opponent. That went nowhere. What do you think happened here? And was it a missed opportunity for the producers and the writers with this character?
I think it was a couple of compounded mistakes. I think it was an error to cast Randy Bologna, who has such an effeminate nature. I think the kind of mincing quality added to the audience's contempt. He seemed tentative and fearful and ultimately insignificant as a character. So I think it's a mistake, and it's good that they're burning this now.
I agree with you. I mean, but think about it. They put a lot of work into this guy. He had potential as a great character. They set up that weird relationship with his wife where he calls her mother, a little Hitchcockian psycho flavoring in on that. They had him be the shameless lackey for Trump. I mean, I thought we were going to see some sort of like Joaquin Phoenix Joker type breakdown in there. Do you see ultimately like a Bruce Dern at the end of Coming Home scene where he just kind of takes off all his clothes and walks into the sea to basically end his life in that manner?
I think that would actually be an excellent ending. Bruce Dern at the end of Coming Home is shattered. He realizes that he'll never get his personality and consciousness back. He's destroyed by Vietnam, and so he nakedly, jigglingly wiggles his way into the surf to leave John Voight and Jane Fonda to their pleasures.
Real quick, we're up against the break. Are any other misfires come to mind when you think about characters?
Well, there are favorite characters that seem to have just dropped out. We haven't seen the Dracula character, Donald Trump's son-in-law. Pure evil, terrifying. The last we saw, he was padding his own pockets with Saudi money, regardless of their recent sort of assassinations. They seem to have decamped. The characters were very unpopular with the local characters in Washington. They were, as you recall, run out of town by an angry mob. So that's something I'd like to see. We'd like to see a little more of the Manafort character. A lot of these characters have gone to jail. It would be nice to see an in-prison B story.
That's a great idea.
Like Stack in The Sopranos.
That's a great idea. That's right. When we come back and have more Talking Trump, the American Emperor after show, we're actually going to answer some of your viewer email, and we'll be right back. right, we're back. This is Talking Trump, the American Emperor After Show. I'm with Talking Trump, American Emperor superfan Tom Robb. Right now, we're going to answer some emails we get from you, the audience. By the way, if you want to send us an email or a question, you can always hit us up at our Instagram and our Gmail at TBD. Okay, this first email comes to us from Barbara Babcock, and she is in New Hampshire, and she says, guys, we love the show. Which character do you feel this ties into what we were talking about earlier. Writers and producers are positioning most for VP in this coming season. And do you think that VP storyline will be more and more involved in the coming weeks?
I have to say it's Gretchen Whitmer as a surprise, not Christy. No, the actresses they cast look exactly the same, and it's difficult to tell apart. But I think he's going to surprise everyone with a liberal Democrat that will simply cause explosions and riots, and he'll do it to taunt and harass and show his disdain for his closest fans.
That did not even occur to me. That would be a major surprise. What I am going to say here is, and the show is at its absolute peak, I think, and I think you'll agree with me, when they get into just the Shakespearean tragedies that they present with certain characters. And that's why I'm going to say they may lean towards Elise Stefanik, that character who's played by the great actress Linda Charisse, who had a terrific character actress career in the early 90s. Now, here's the thing about this character. Her backstory, she comes from a small town in upstate New York. She worked her way into Harvard. She did not come from like rich parents. She really had this like great raise yourself up by bootstraps type of storyline. And then they made her just drunk with ambition. She became this horrendous troll of a human being. And she just did everything that she could possibly do to try to get on the Trump character's radar. And I think where they're going with this is, and they made this casting very specifically, Trump's character is always brought to the Gretchen Whitmer, the Christie, the Gnomes, these attractive women. And they purposely casted this really off-putting, unattractive troll type actress to play this Elise Stefanik character who sold her soul so deeply to Trump. And I believe when the rubber hits the road and he makes his selection, you'll see this Stefanik character who has just given all her integrity out, basically get turned down by Trump himself because she lacks the looks. I think it's a commentary on the patriarchy, and that's where this show, sails when it makes these societal commentaries like, hey, you could do everything, you could earn the job, and then guess what? You're ugly. You're as ugly physically on the outside as you are on the inside, and you're going to be left in the shadows.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, rarely has there been a character in any dramatic form as evil, as narcissistic, as self-serving, and as physically hideous as Stefanik. She's from an aluminum siding family, which is not uncommon to generate sort of, evil and self-serving people. She simply embodies all the qualities you were talking about of a Greek tragedy or Shakespeare, where the origin of what the family has done comes back to haunt them in future generations. The Stefaniks have clearly been meting out evil in central New York, from Albany to Utica to Syracuse and thereabouts for generations. So for him to pick somebody who has a long legacy of human cruelty and torture would be consistent, would be less of a surprise, but would really work dramatically.
Okay, quick speed round on other candidates that they may position for the VP position. Just a line or two. I'm going to throw a name out there and see what you think of the future of that character. Okay, what about somebody they started developing this guy, Tim Scott, played by the great Harold Rodney.
He would be interesting. Weak, obsequious, a congenital suck up. They're fun to watch.
How about the amazing character, many fans' favorite, Marjorie Taylor Greene character? Do you think you would consider her?
Um, Marjorie Taylor Greene,
What is the plans
interesting
for
but
her?
one note.
One note. Yeah, that's an interesting critique. Yes. And then let's just throw out, would he bring Ivanka Trump into the picture, the character who plays his daughter?
Maybe, but maybe she goes hard left and becomes a stripper, or a female wrestler, or someone in the roller derby. These characters have to be kept lively, and right now she's a little bit of a wooden non-entity with an oval head.
Those are plenty of great answers and a lot to think about on that question. And I will look forward to that storyline being continued and see where it comes out. We have time for one more question in this section of the show. This comes from Kyle McEnany. He is from the great state of Florida. He writes, as great as this show is, why do you think, and this is something that we've talked about a little bit, Tom, why do you think numerous plot lines are so often dropped as far as exposition, follow through, and even resolution? I'm miffed that last year they killed off Ivana Trump, who was the satellite character who played Ivanka's mother. We kind of heard about it almost as an afterthought. Why do producers position those types of stories like that? Here's the mother of Ivanka Trump. We don't even hear about her till the beginning of the episode. By page 30, she's dead and buried in a golf course.
Well, I heard from a secret source that the actor Davies felt competitive with the actress and that she was too noble. Another problem is that you can't have it both ways. If you're going to have an unpredictable, insane character that you can never understand or know what he's going to do next, you're going to lose your Marla Mapleses. You're going to lose your Baron Trumps. You're going to have a gawky 7-foot boy walking on the screen, everyone wondering what's happening. Then he sails away, never to be seen again. This is going to happen again and again, and we just have to be thankful for the seconds we have to enjoy them.
I heard that sometimes Davies will, because he's so powerful in this, in on the set, if he doesn't approve or if he's uninterested in a storyline, he will just improvise, and the rest of the crew has to play catch up with him. But he may have just decided that he didn't, like you said, he didn't want to go toe to toe with her as an actress, so he just kind of killed her off. And famously, does not do second takes.
Well, this is the problem you have when you have a charismatic, amazing actor who gains so much leverage with a Q rating that he has an undue influence on the show. It's working for now, but I think producers have to be concerned if he's final word on script, on dramatic choices, on casting.
What are they going to do? Fire him?
He's too popular.
So, quickly, a couple other plot lines that popped to my mind that I would have loved to see more about, but for some reason we didn't. How about that whole thing in season 1 where they were going to build a moat around the southern border and fill it with alligators? Migrants coming in, having to traverse a river that was filled with apex predators in order to get into the country. That went away. As soon as it was mentioned, it basically was killed. Is that for a show that spends so much money on production? Were they afraid to make that happen?
Well, like the wall, or like the kind of giant fire pit they were going to throw illegal immigrants into, it ends up being an amusing idea for a script note or a scene blow, and then way too expensive to do and not worth it and unsustainable. I mean, apparently their political advisor, who tries to keep it realistic, often poo-poos the most torturous medieval kind of ideas that are introduced as unrealistic. And I think executive producers agree, ultimately too expensive and impractical.
All right. Keep those emails coming in because it just spurs great conversation here. When we come back, very special guest Guy Benecourt, the actor who plays Michael Cohen, Trump's former attorney, who I think his role is coming back into the plot line as Trump deals with this trial for the Stormy Daniels payment storyline that finally might be resolved after 2 years. He'll be here in the studio. We'll talk to him. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Do you want to? I think we're good. This act 3, I was just kind of.
You can just play with it. Play with it.
Do it
and edit it and tell me what to do different, what I'm doing wrong, how we could conversationally take it. But I thought that worked well. I think you got some stuff.
Hang on one sec.
What do you think about the tone?
One more second. I'm just gonna try to stop this recording. How could I do that? Okay, got it.
Seems to be recording.
It's still recording, isn't it? Oh,